we're going to take a look at Peps versus Celtas. So Peps have kind of eternally, maybe not eternally, that's too harsh, but they've been kind of a tier break team where they beat other teams below them, but they don't really get that close to SSG or Ents, and they're trying to level themselves up. Today, their test is Celtas, which in theory should be a pretty straightforward one for them. Celtas, on the other hand, are actually a team that have really only been around OWTS sort of top 16. They've never really gone too much past that or even really threatened to. But they had a pretty good performance earlier in the week. Were able to get that important win over Sovereigns. And I actually put some really in contention to get top 8 for this FACEIT event here. So we'll take a look at their game today and see if Celtas can continue their good form, or if Peps will just do what they usually do and deal with the weaker teams. So, talking through the map bans, it's going to be Peps banning Samoa as they normally do, Celtas ban Busan, and Oasis is the pick by Peps, which is the way they normally go, like to play Oasis. Then we'll get Celtas banning Midtown, Peps banning Paraiso, and Hollywood will be the pick by Celtas. And then for map 3, if we need it, Peps ban Rialto, Celtas ban Junkertown, and Shambali is for pick by Peps. So maybe a bit of a blunder there from Celtas, I don't know. I feel like Peps really like to go to Shambali. They feel pretty confident on the map, so we'll see if that one comes back to bite them. But we can jump right into the action here, because we are ready to go. So, Peps on the left, Crook is in. No internet issues today. And we have maybe some less familiar faces on the Celtas side. We have Skytor on tank, Zydra on hitscan, and Gem Podanova on as the backline. Podanova actually had probably one of the most impressive performances, I think, from their surprise win over Sovereigns. And we also have the legend himself, Kazakh Kai 41, playing the flex CPS, probably mostly playing a lot of Tracer. And we'll start on City Center, which means it'll actually start on a dive mirror. Very close to mirrored comps here, but a cast for Zodial and a Sojourn for Zydra. Both teams vying for the same space right now. Kai's going to walk into the Cassidy. We'll have to back this one up. Skytor's going to bubble it, but Magnetic Grenade. Zodial can finish this one. Tread with the counter dive, but the Suzu is good for Skytor to get him out of that one, and Zydra actually finds the opening pick. Now they can walk forward here, Celtas. Another one for Zydra. And Peps, they're just out of resources here. It was a really aggressive swing from Zodial. Skytor was quick to meet it. Podanova was good with the Suzu to get him out of that one. And they win the first fight. Win the first fight there. Zydra finding these opening picks. No ults really just yet. And actually closest on the beat charge. If they get that early, they can really shift the tempo and just go quite aggressive with it. Kill the Kiri, kill the Lucio. We do see Kai hiding on the right-hand side here. Gets the drop onto Naga. We'll be able to force him back. Meanwhile, just vying on the high ground here. Skytor's going to bubble off Tread. Tread has the later bubble. Suzu onto him, and Skytor is so low, but here comes the overclock from Zydra. Looking for something. Not finding it yet. We'll get a chance to peek everyone. Body shot's not enough. They will survive. Now the beats keep going. They can keep walking in with this one. More pressure. Kitsune rushes back from Crook, though, and they weather the storm. And, I mean, that was the window right there for Celtas. They had the overclock advantage. They had the beat advantage. They can't find any kills with it. Not aggressive enough. Not able to find the follow-up. It maybe ends up a little bit awkward timing in that when Zydra wanted to go. Skytor already used like his bubble when it got burst and he lost all his HP, so they couldn't really commit any further. They try and beat to keep going, but it doesn't really work. So back in control for Peps and beat advantage for FD God, Kitsune rush advantage for Podanova. They're coming early here, actually. High-ning swing from Zodial. Skytor's trying to focus him down. They Kitsune rush back, actually, so Skytor can stay on the backline here. We'll be priming them all back. Wants to try and catch up FD God into the ceiling, but they won't be able to get him. They have flipped the point here. Celtas have robbed them. Now they're going to deal with a Tread Primal. Boot back in. They can force Tread out. They're trying to get the flip, but Skytor will contest with Bubble. They're going to beat back in aggressively now. Nothing to deal with this beat. They have to just try and live. Tread and Naga and Zodial all trying to force the backline. Zydra has been left. The rest of Celtas have TP to point, and they've maintained control here, so they can get a lot of capture progress. Bubble comes in. Skytor with a later bubble. Podanova trying to get away from Tread. TP's onto the high ground. Will get followed, though, by Tread, but no, Podanova and Ange. They hold strong. They deal with Tread. Both Winstons fall. Podanova desperate. Low on HP, manages to TP and regroup. They have to concede for flip, though. Podanova needs one more TP out. I don't know if he quite has it yet. Just having to take the duel. And Zodiac will get the cleanup. Kitsune Rush now coming back up for Crook. Ange nearly has his second beat. A pretty even fight. Kai has a pulse bomb to throw in there as well. Looks like they might be aggressive here. Peps, but no, Zydra's found the opening pick, so Peps are going to concede for space. Might just play for a slow fight, try and get another ult out. But no, Kitsune Rush comes back from Crook. They turn onto Skytor. Beat means they can commit onto this now. They're coming through. One more jump of a boop is good, but FD God goes into the sky. Angel finish that one. Catches him on the exit, so they don't all get out cleanly here, Peps, and they can push forward. They want more. Pulse bomb in the back from Kai41. Gets his man. Now the overclock over the top. Tread has no HP. He'll get burned through. And who's going to touch for Peps? Naga wants to try and make a move for it. FD God as well trying. Only one blink. Needs one more blink. Doesn't have it. Has to recall. Recalls into the pit. Can't get the touch, and they just find the timing there. They get him on the back foot. That catch onto FD God for Boop that And was able to get really just sealed the deal. Because then the rest of Peps couldn't get out. They all got staggered. There was no touch. And Celtas give themselves an early lead here on Oasis. We're going on to university, though, which means one thing if you're Danish and you play on Peps. And your name's not Johan. That means it's venture time. There's probably more conditions than I wanted for that statement to work in the end, but we'll keep rolling with it. Will be a Ram Mirror outside of that. We'll see what Kai swaps to. Will be Tracer from him again. Early high ground for Peps. Not going to be contested, actually. Normally you get a bit of a battle for this high ground, but they choose not to contest it. Naga has been a menace on this venture so far. And so far, they're just looking to flip the map here. Naga waiting for his burrow timing. Will get close. Now he's going to burrow behind. Wants to get on this BAP. Wants to get on this Cas. Will be underneath. Potanova tries to boop him in. Boop off the map. He goes forward to avoid the venture, but just walks into the Lucio. FD got to die for it. But Naga has done the damage here. Zydra is going to trade it, actually. So most of Peps went back to point. They kind of left Naga out to dry there. So they do get first control here, Peps. But Zydra on the high ground picks off one. He's looked good in this series so far. And now he can put pressure on Tread. Tread's going to have to use his cooldowns just to hold on. Has to form defensively. Bubble off as well to deny the healing. That'll finish the kill. And Peps have to turn this into a full reset. Want more kills, actually. Naga is still close here. Drill dash away. They catch FD God. And burrow safely underground back into spawn here. He's going to swap to Tracer as well here, actually. Chance to come back here. Crook nearly has window, but Zydra does have that high noon. Looks like they might want to swing early with it here as well. Zydra's going to drop it. Round the corner looking for the boop. Now do it. Good high noon. And Celtas on top again. Often hard to get true high noon value. Often has to be used to counter a primal or just stabilize a disengage, something like that, or just to take a bit of space. But they're aggressive with it. They catch Peps in this more open part of Oasis. In this retake. And now Kai41 is lurking with a pulse on the right hand side, but he's spotted out. He will be forced back. Skytor's quite low, as is Zydra, so Peps get themselves onto point for free and will start forcing it. Have to make a move here soon, Celtas. Kai41's going to get the touch, but has to use recall. Skytor onto the high ground. Tries to de-peek this window. Needs help out of that corner. Won't be able to get help out of that corner. Ended up conceding too much space for free. It felt like Skytor take a lot of poke, so they had to move to the back of the map. They moved to the back of the map, but then that just allows Peps all the space, all the room. What they would have loved is to go over that window if they really wanted to go. Have Skytor's jump be a little bit deeper, have Kai go with him, but Kai41 had no recall. Skytor had to just jump onto the wall, so couldn't commit much further. So now they get to hold forward here, Peps. We've seen them be aggressive in the past, and they're going to swing with this high noon as well. Pulse bomb in the back, forces the lamp. Zodi will keep the high noon holding, but the rest of Celtas are safe. A 1-for-1 ult trade, and a chance to come back here with a double support ult. FD God has beat to match, but he can only really match one of them. So it should be Celtas' fight to win if they can connect these. It's an aggressive Kitsune rush. They follow Skytor in. Now the pressure onto Tread. He's awfully low. Pops the Annihilation to try and live, but the BAP has died. No one's going to go. No one's going to be able to heal Tread through that. The Primal, the Kitsune rush, they do their job. Burn through that Annihilation, no problem. FD God not able to get the beat off. So now we're going to have A beat v beat fight. Zydra's going to have the high noon to throw into this one as well. We'll see if it looks like they're posing to go aggressively here. Slow on the choke. Beat to keep going through. FD God has the beat to match. Gets it onto everyone. So Peps can stabilize here, but they're still holding very aggressively. This high noon has split Peps quite a lot, and they're going to try and turn on the backline here. FD God with the boot keeps him alive, and now Peps can walk back. Pushing forward, Tread and Zodial sweeping over, and they'll deal with the Winston as well. Skytor just about lives, but they had to concede so much space. I don't know if they can really stabilize from this extra. FD God is going. FD God's really going for this. He's all the way in. He's super deep. He doesn't get out. He actually gets picked. He really thought they could get the stagger kills there, but it's actually him who ends up getting staggered out. They don't catch any of the players, and now it's a 5v4. Celtas coming back in. Crook has window. That's all they have right now. Dive comes in really deep from Skytor. Will back off towards the spawn. He's super separated though, and Naga's going to chase him down. Skytor needs a lot of help. TP from Podanova keeps him alive, but they've lost Ange in the meantime. And Celtas will reset one more time. We're into last fight territory. Podanova nearly has this Kitsune rush, and Peps are taking a step forward. They force the recall out of Kai. All about this Kitsune rush, really. Where they can connect. High noon comes through, has to Suzu through. Kitsune rush to point, has to try and get away from them. Means they can't really do that much with this Kitsune rush though. So Peps will come back to point. Skytor's going to dive in. Suzu doesn't hit anything. They're trying to pocket him through, but Kai, 41 with a pulse bomb in the back. Finds the Baptiste pick, so again, no healing for Tread. He's going to get focused down afterwards on the next bubble. Celta's back in control of point. And then is that just it? They can touch for a bit here, Peps, but can they really get another fight back? I don't think so. FD God, can he even get one more touch? The answer is no. The answer is no. And Celtas take a surprise early lead in this series. We'll move on to Hollywood, which was, of course, Celtas' pick. And they find themselves on match point. The dive worked really well for him there. Especially against the Ram. Felt like they were able to get to Crook a fair amount. Their support ults felt like they generally got value. Maybe except for that last Kitsune rush. Didn't quite go how they wanted. And it looks like might just get a bit of a dive mirror here on Hollywood. So Peps had a scare last week against New Age. And they're having another scare here. Find themselves down a map to Celtas, which they would not have expected. They'll take the dive mirror, it seems. Might be very much what we saw on City Center, where it's basically a full mirror except Zodial on Cass and Zydra on Sojourn. So when we saw this on City Center, it was Zydra was really the main man in a lot of situations. Fire those opening picks of the first fight. Good overclock to finish that round as well. Initially we'll come in. Winston's just trading positioning. Naga will try and clear out Kai 41 on the Tracer flank here. Both battling away in the distance. Seems like Naga's got the better of Nat for now as Tread's going to bubble the backline. Skytor's going to do the same. They manage to get the exit, but Skytor's taking so much damage there. They catch him. And that's what Cass is so good at. Can burn through that Winston health. And so often in these Winston mirrors, whether it's Kiri Lucio or whether it's Anna Brig, it's all about playing through the Winston. Can you punish the enemy Winston? Or more importantly, can your Winston just live? Avoid all the things that can go wrong for him. And the answer for Skytor there was, no, he cannot. They'll go back to high ground, and Zydra has this rail to stabilize them for a little bit. Peps in no great rush. They can get point moving before they are forced to dive. And whoa, a pick from Zodial. That'll help. That'll help keep this cart rolling. And Celtas conceding a little bit of space here. Zydra taking the deeper angle. Zodial wants to come high ground now. Magnetic grenade downtown. Lands on the back line. Will be Suzu. Skytor's going to jump to help clear Tread. The rest of Peps trying to walk across this bridge now. Tread is still going. He's so low. Has to get Suzu, but Kai 41 wants to finish that. Tread gets out. But Skytor keen. The boop is good from FD God. Denies it. And now the swing back. They need to break the bubble. They have to concede for high ground here. Ange is still trapped up there. Ange is trapped up there. Do they know about Ange? Zodial does, but the boop is good. Roll back onto high ground from Zodial. Kitsune rush to respond, but Podanova goes down as he uses it. Now Peps can drop to high ground. They can live for now. Skytor gets one trade in the back. They're going to beat. They're going to commit here, Celtas. They want to find kills. They're trying to be all over him here, but Peps have kited the worst of it. And they will stabilize. FD God, good for the boop again. They can clean up Skytor, and they can get this payload really moving to this last fight. A good trade from Kai 41 though. Will make this retake a little bit easier. Manages to preserve his own life as well. But they did use both support ults in that. Both support ults wasted by Celtas. A huge opportunity for Peps to get a really fast time on this second point. They'll be coming through. Tread will mark the backline. Kitsune rush to try and focus down Skytor. Doesn't have Primal if he gets in trouble. Beat over the top as well. They finish off Kai 41. Skytor can touch with... chooses not to Primal in the end. Tread, meanwhile, did Primal on the other side of things. Does keep that backline contained, even if he can't find any kills. And over 5 minutes on third point. Peps responding exactly how they needed to. They did spend the bank for that one to ensure they capped second, but they've given themselves plenty of time on this third point. And they actually catch Pod and over early here as well. Don't know what quite went wrong there. And Peps will get a lot of free push, and they might be bearing down on this final cap sooner rather than later. They're going to have to deal with this Skytor Primal, which means their opportunities in this fight are going to be mainly try and absorb the Primal, don't let anyone get traded. Kai 41's going to make a move. Just trading onto the Winston, though. Skytor going to bubble defensively here to deal with Tread, but Peps have still taken the space, and Pulse Bomb in the back catches Zydra. Skytor's going to have to use his Primal sooner than he wants, I think. They're trying to buy time for Zydra here. Happy to play it slow. They're all quite low in the corner. Bubble comes in. Skytor's low. Another bubble pops for Primal. Needs to try and find a kill with this one. Any trade will do, but the High Noon will just slow him down. Will reposition to the high ground. Looks for Zodial now. Will boop him back in. Can he finish the kill? He can finish the kill. The trade is good. Kitsune Rush comes through as well. That should be enough now. Patient with the Primal. Catches Zodial. Costs him a Kitsune Rush, but Celtas hold for now. Still 4 minutes left on the clock, and because they had to commit that Kitsune Rush, we're now getting to a situation where Peps have both support ults compared to just Anger's beat. Kai's going to take an early duel with Naga, but will be forced out. Recall committed as well. Expect Peps to wait for this beat, then make their move. They can Kitsune Rush to start, and as soon as Ange beats, they can beat back. They can even be very aggressive on Ange, and that's what they want to do. They Suzu to get the beat off here. Doesn't quite catch anyone, so Tread is still on the backline. Primal wants to catch for Cass, catches him, and now he's got the Lucio traps as well. They make Ange's beat really difficult. Doesn't catch everyone, so the rest of Celtas, the backline, they have to take a step back, and Tread's able to finish it with a Primal. And Pep's dominant on this attack. A good Primal to finish it, and we find ourselves in a situation where Peps seem to have very much recovered, shaken off any of those problems. Puts up a 3 minute and 8 second time back on Hollywood. Nothing to be sniffed at. And really, a lot of it came down to the ult usage here. You look at the two fights they won at the end of second and the end of third there for Peps, and their fights they 100% should have won. Clear ult advantage situations. They do convert them successfully, of course. But they're getting these opportunities in some part through opening picks, but also just, especially on second, I think Celtas are going to feel very bad about how no support ults went. Didn't get a chance to set them up how they wanted. You compare that to Oasis University. Well, actually, most of the Kitsune rushes, most of the beats, it got the value they wanted. Not this time, though. And looks like we'll be getting more of the same here. Zydra did start mirroring the Cass there at a certain point as well. Cass, obviously, way better at ruining a Winston's day. Even if he doesn't have the same mobility. Zydra will go for a pick out spawn here. Impossible this works on Hollywood, honestly. Takes the ult charge though. Crook will take the healing. And we'll be going again. So, especially in this neutral, remember, a lot of it's going to be on the Winstons. The moves they make. The bubbles they use. The HP they're desperate to preserve. Early bubble here on. They want to try and catch Tread as well. Magnetic Grenade 2. Suzu to get Tread out of there. He's lost all his HP, so Skytor will take Cafe. They're going to turn and deal with Naga behind. Skytor needs help, though. He jumps out, but his team has rotated away. It's a little bit messy from Celtas. They're going to regroup now and all come through Cafe. They have to remember Naga is going to respawn now and will be coming behind them partway through this fight. The rest of Peps are on the high ground, and Zodial, the Cascap. He's got Zydra. And he secured his team. FD God, good with the boop again. Podnova wants to push for the duel. Taking on Crook. But not a wise move in the end as Crook had his number. And they managed to stabilize. And they'll get to that Kitsune Rush faster. They'll get to that high noon faster since Zodiel won that opening duel. A little bit slower on beat, but that's okay. This will be the big ult trade. Both support ults available for both teams. Didn't get a chance to do a lot of these trades on the defense here because they invested theirs so early. Celtas. But now they get it. High noon from the high ground from Zodiel. It's aggressive and just going to try and beat through. It only catches 2 of them though, and Zydra's going to die. Doesn't work out. Kitsune Rush in response from Crook, and they can focus down these remaining players. And now, honestly, maybe didn't even need the Kitsune Rush in the end. The beat doesn't go out the way Ange wanted it to. Similar story to third. They're able to force a bad beat. Ange not able to catch everyone. Now Celta's coming back. They have high noon to start. Kitsune Rush to keep going if they want. If I'm Peps, I maybe try and use Primal on his Kitsune Rush. Save my beat for later in the fight. Is an option, but they're going to be aggressive. They catch Ange again. FD God sets him up. Zodiel slams him down. Now the beat over the Kitsune Rush. They're trying to kill the cast. They can kill the cast through everything. Kitsune Rush not enough to save him. And Peps remain in control. Aggression through the stairs. Ange not ready for it. And now we're in a fairly mirrored situation. Primals and Pulse Bombs is the name of the game. Good primals from both Winstons so far. Tread with the one to finish on third. Skytor with the defensive one where he managed to trade and separate Zodiel. Peps in no rush to start it. They're dealing with Kai in the back. Skytor's going to do one staging jump onto the high ground. Magnetic Grenade catches Zodiel. Timing a little bit late from Skytor on that one. Gonna Primal and double down again. He's looking for it. Primal on the back. Gets his man Zodiel again. Now he's looking for the back line. They're low. He'll finish one. Lucio in his sights next. FD God's slippery, but is he slippery enough? No is the answer. The high noon will catch him. Naga's able to get one trade, but I think Skytor's done the damage here. Naga will be able to reset to the Mega. But now they have full point control. They will be capping. And I think Naga will just try and blink out. No, Tread wants to contest. They have Kitsune Rush coming back, actually. Celtas don't have anything. They have to try and disengage this. And the disengage looks not great. Nearly got everyone out, but Zydra went slightly the wrong way. Everyone else kited main. Zydra goes left, and he gets punished for it. They'll force him all the way back to spawn. They use a Kitsune Rush, and they lose Tread. They crucially lose Tread. The retake is free now. Both support ults available as well. Only one tick to play with. They're going to try and play aggressive here. Zodiel needs to work miracles. It's a high noon drop in. He's looking for it. Defensive bubble from Skytor. Beat back as well. Zodiel's booped in no man's land. Wants to take the duel with Zydra now. His team are in trouble on point, and Zydra's going to play his life. Now they come back and deal with Zodiel. Zydra has called the boys. And the boys have put Zodiel away. And Celtas will get the breakthrough. That late catch on Tread, crucial. Allowed him to get through for free. They also had the support ult advantage. And as you've seen from both teams, if that team does have both support ults and you only have one support ult or even 0 support ults, it's so difficult to play those fights. Now trying to come back onto the high ground here. Zydra will get booped down. But they're marking this elevator side. Zodiel's really keen to get up here. We'll get up here with Naga, but Skytor's got a bubble on everything. Suzu to keep peeking. Now a primal from Skytor again. Boops them all in. Tread's going to try and mark Zydra while this goes on. Will keep the backline contained for now. Has the primal to keep going. Forces for TP out Podnova. Meanwhile, Peps, they've dealt with Skytor. Tread now looking for more. Ange is low. But Tread just going to play his life. His backline have done the job for him. They've killed the Winston. So he doesn't need to take any risks. And Peps, more time off the clock. Starting free payload. Crook nearly back to his Kitsune Rush again. We'll see where Celtas want to make their move. Could just start with overclock here. Zydra has it in hand. Difficult a little bit with this high ground. Can maybe even just use it to force point, honestly, if they can get a bubble out or something. Has the full rail. Wants to go top with it now. Tread will be there to meet. Lands just in time. Bubble is through. They're going to try and overclock through it. Kitsune rushes back in response. Peps are trying to walk forward, but they're trying to walk through this overclock. And the beat is there for Ange. FD God didn't have his yet. And Celtas with a big opening. They seem to deal with Zodial. And they should be able to deal with him. Ooh, Crook gets an important trade. Kiri down, and that was their ult for the next fight, Celtas. They wanted to use that Kitsune rush. Someone's going to have to go pick up Podanova. Obviously, he can TP back, which will save him a lot of time as Ange will go pick him up. A chance to drop that Kitsune rush, but it is a High Noon, a Primal, a beat, a Pulse. A lot to respond with here, Peps. A lot to respond with. They're going to swing out right side. If they want to take top, they're on Podanova. Podanova's going to drop the Kitsune rush of a high ground, but where are Celtas? A miscommunication about where we're fighting. The Kitsune rush gets no value. The beat over top from FD God. It doesn't catch Crook, but it should be enough. There's only 5 seconds left. Celtas need a little bit of a miracle. Skytor's close to a primal. They've been good so far, but he's desperately far away from it. 14% as his bubble fades. Needs someone else to get the next touch. Kai 41 will do it. Skytor dropping back in. Pulse bomb. Doesn't find anything. Skytor should be able to get up to this primal now, but he needs help. He needs help, and Podanova, Kai 41, they're both down. Skytor's trying to force the trade. He has to get the touch, but he is one man versus the world, and it will not be enough. And Peps equalise the series.
Ready for battle.
We'll move into Shambali. And this will be the finisher. So, we've seen a lot of dives so far, but obviously Shambali, very much not a dive map. So we're going to be getting rams on both sides. This is the map Peps quite like to play. Very much their comfort zone here. We're going to see Naga starting on the Mei on defense as well. This entire first point is very much just tight chokes and corridors. And honestly, second, a lot of corridors and chokes as well. It's just a good Mei map, honestly. What we have seen when teams have ran Mei in the past, though, is if the other team has a Tracer and there's nobody to mark the Tracer, the Tracer causes big problems. So Kai 41's going to go for a grapple, a Widow shot. What's he up to? Doesn't hit anything. And we'll go. And if he goes Tracer now, the onus, I think, now is on Kai 41. He will be unmarked. He will be unchecked. How much value can he get? And he's going to get behind them initially as well. Wall comes out just to try and break the line of sight of healing, but it's not the greatest wall. They're still winning the HP trade on Skytor. They've got more, but the lamp has been forced in the back from Kai 41. That's the danger of the Tracer. FD God is going to try and take responsibility for that. A slow and pokey fight, and Skytor is 1 HP. Does get the next form off. Tread now might be forced to form in response here again. Kai 41 is behind. FD God is trying to keep him contained as best as he can, but he's a little bit separated now. FD God has actually kept him pretty well contained, but they still lose Tread in the front. Even though FD God has stopped the Tracer getting full value, it does pull a bit of resources away from Tread, and they're able to win the trade during that slow pokey fight. But the nature of this Shambali defense when you're holding in spawn is you're going to get 3 fights. You'll get 1 fight in spawn, 1 fight in the corner, and 1 fight for the cap. So we'll see if I come back here. It'll be Crook nearly with Window, Zodial nearly with Overclock, and just have the beat slightly sooner. FD God should have it in time as well. We'll see how they choose to start. Wall comes through. Window to keep pushing. Beat to go through it here. Ange has the beat to match. Naga is in quite deep still. Doesn't have Mei ult yet, but Crook has this window to respond with soon. But they lose Tread. Not in time to save Tread. They might just choose to die on point here. Keep their ults for the final fight. A trade onto Podanova will help. Another trade would be beautiful, but I don't know if they've got it in them. Nope, no more trades. And they'll commit to this final fight. Red might have to drop a little bit sooner here. The cart did have a little bit of movement before they traded. So there's the overclock back from Zodial. Immediate kill for him as well. And Celtas are just going to cut their losses and get out of this one. An overclock for the retake. Happy enough with that if you're Peps. Not a very expensive one. Felt like they maybe would have to commit more there. Maybe the Mei ult, maybe the Annihilation. But they get to hold on to those ones. So now we're going to get an Annihilation trade here. But ultimately, I think Peps have an answer to anything. They can annihilate back. They can mail Skytor's annihilation. If Zydra overclocks, they can window in response. They've got the answers to everything Celtas have. But they're going to start the fight actually aggressively with mail. Hydra is in it. They're all frozen. The lamp is going to go down. But mail's done massive damage. But Skytor has done similar damage of the back, and he's forcing the payload. They've stolen the cap. Peps win the fight, lose the point. And the mail was good. It did as much as you could ask from a mail. But the C9. Celtas get away with that one. The point for free. Shambali doesn't get any easier though, as they now have to take the battle uphill. Still have annihilation and window here, Peps. And has the beat if they want to play aggressive through it. But FD God's very close to mirroring. An aggressive window now on Skytor. They want to force him back. Beat in response. Now they can start walking forward. FD God has the beat if they need it, but Tread's going to start with annihilation. He wants to beam down this Ramatra first as well. We'll deal with that. The annihilation will expire, but the ram pick is more than enough, and they can get all of these stagger kills as well. FD God's dropped in, actually. He has to be a little bit careful. Zodiel does get traded. And just behind. Where's he going? Where does he think he's going? Ange delaying the inevitable. And they get the slow onto FD God here, but it's only really Skytor shooting him for now, so he'll be alright. FD God has the beat, Naga has the mail. A lot of ults to win this next fight. Podnova has the window, but it might have to be a window and then try and disengage whichever ult Peps respond with here. Don't have the firepower right now to commit to this full fight, especially not if they lose an opening pick like that. The wall now onto Skytor. They should be able to focus him down. They'll force the form, force him all the way out. Jump up to try and trade from Podnova, but can't find anything. Kai 41 is going to preserve his life behind, keep himself on that flank. Podnova's tried to live. He's gone all the way coast, and another staggered death for Celtas. They just need to accept sometimes when they've lost the fight and just take the death of a reset. Peps now with plenty of time off the clock already. 1.5 minutes left, but Peps have everything except that annihilation. We'll be getting the big ult trade here, and it's going to start with a right-hand side rotation from Celtas. They've got the high ground. They flip the map successfully. They'll meet on point. Window to try and force it. Naga is going to try and anchor point. Slow on to Naga. Skytor's going to try and force him out. Just beams him, actually, as well. It's a 1-for-1 trade, though, as the window comes back from Crook. Skytor will DP kit, as will the rest of Celtas. Crook with not all that much to shoot at here. FD God was looking for the boop, but Zydra's going to respond with overclock now. They have to take a step back. Tread has one more form. Zodiel's going to respond in kind. FD God still has the beat if they need it. The annihilation's coming, so they might need that beat sooner rather than later. They stabilize for now. Now the beat to push back. Skytor trying to disengage. This annihilation will run for so long. The beat back as well, and now they can overwhelm them. Because they lost Naga so early, the mail was the crucial missing ingredient there for Peps. They'll have it for the recontest, and they'll have annihilation, and Celtas had to use everything for that. They'll pick up Podnova again. 30 seconds. They don't really have... They have to try and disengage this mail. They don't have time to take multiple fights, but they can get a disengage. But the wall is perfect. The wall is perfect. It's caught everyone. And just like that. Just like that. Mail on point. Mail on point?
10 seconds remaining.
Don't know why he mailed it on point at the end. Confident they can't win, even without the mail. The wall doesn't deny the touch, but Skytor will die as he gets it, and they will be fine. Annihilation to finish it. No one can really contest, and Celtas will be stopped at 90 meters and 44 centimeters. Honestly, not a great distance, right? But as far as maps go, Shambali, because you always get free fights on first if you're in this kind of ram mirror, you can get so much time, or even full hold's really common on Shambali. So Peps aren't out of the woods yet. The match still in the balance. Need to have a good attack here. It does seem, though, since we got past that Oasis, Peps have rolled their sleeves up. They've got themselves back together. And they put themselves in a very winnable situation. Expect we'll see much of the same comp. I have to say now, after we after we got away from first point, where Kai was on that flank and being quite annoying, it felt like we didn't really see Kai 41 quite achieve as much as they would have liked. It can be often quite difficult, especially on this slope fight, if your team's holding this area, so you want to play the opposite side like you did on first, right, as the Tracer, try and threaten the backline. It's just, this area to play in is quite wide and open, you know, it's hard to exploit the same things. You compare that to the space you're playing on first point, where you have this room to duck into, you have this room to duck into, you've even got the mini here as well. It's just, the geometry is just a lot nicer to get the Tracer behind on this first point. And it didn't feel like we saw the same impact from Kai 41 as we maybe would have hoped. Some of the credit, I guess, should of course go to Peps as well for keeping him contained. FD God being diligent. And it will be a May from Kai 41 on the defense here, but a very different look. Bastion, Junkrat, Mercy. All right, let's see it. Mine coming over the top, and oh my god, demolished. It was a Mercy Junkrat meta all along. There was just no one brave enough to see the vision. But now, Naga and FD God, they see it. FD God will swap Lucio. Naga will not be swapping the Junkrat. Halfway to his ult already. Crook will probably have the window first, and that'll be the first ult. Podonovas is quite slow since the early death, and Naga is jungling right now, lurking through the house. Hits one from downtown, another one onto Kai. Ange tries to contest, but Naga can reset on it. Another pipe onto Ange, looking for the finish. He's behind. Does he know? Podonova doesn't know he lamps. He manages to land in the lamp. Another one. They deal with the Junkrat threat. But at what cost? They've lost Zyder in the front. Skytor is backing it up. Zodiel with a Bastion bomb from downtown. And FD God is on the hunt. He cowers away from the Lucio 1v1. Sensible from FD God. And Podonova's actually gone Moira here.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Interesting. They can't deal with the Junkrat flanks right now. They're going to meet him on the corner here. Here he comes through the window. Doesn't get the connect. Can go for the same. Going to wait for his next mine so he can combo a pipe with a mine. Kai 41 trying to hold it for now. Full pocket. They come to clear him. Riptire coming through the window, I expect. No, just going to try and keep him alive through the beat. Where's he going? Just wants to go through main. He's coming. He's lost everyone. There we go. He still gets two in the end. He catches him up. He lost his own life, but the damage was done. The rest of Peps survived the Mayolt. They survived the beat. And they've gotten his payload moving, and they're going to be in final fight territory. With 4 minutes on the clock. They're going to have Window. They're going to have Bastion ult. And Naga will be swapping to Venture. Celtas have the overclock. They have the Annihilation to stabilize. So they can hold here. Just need to avoid getting caught by a window. Avoid standing underneath a Bastion bomb. And maybe most importantly, if possible, they want to try and save the Annihilation to deal with the FD God beat that's incoming. Here come the bombs. And Naga is in behind. Bombs on the choke. Just catch Skytor. That Annihilation won't come through the window. The beat. It saves Naga. And FD God and Naga, they should be able to finish everything up here. Ange's 1 HP. And there's nobody to touch. And Bastion bombs. Just on poor Skytor's head. It does so much damage if you catch it on your head. And he gets obliterated. And it's just easy from there, right? Just easy from there. And Peps, shaky in the first map. Shaky in the first map, but recover well. Recover well to take that series. And I don't know quite what to make of it. Don't know quite what to make of it. Because the first map was so close, but then the other maps actually weren't really close at all, either on the Ram mirror or on the dive mirror. So another scare for Peps, but they do come out on top. Still feels like we're not quite seeing the full potential from this Peps roster, but this isn't the game. This isn't the game that would prove it one way or the other anyway. In terms of performances, we can take a look at the scoreboard. Map number 1, all the way back on Oasis. This was obviously the most competitive one. We see Kai 41 going 22 and 2. That's good. Zyder 23 and 4 as well. Felt like he really had, like a 2k damage gap on Zodial. Felt like he really had the upper hand in that first one. Winning the important duels. Then as we get onto Hollywood, this is where it really shifted the other way. Here you can start to see suddenly Poddenova 10 deaths and 9 deaths. The backline is getting caught. On the flip side of it, 3 deaths for Crook, 3 deaths for FD God. Often in a dive mirror. Those will be the difference makers. Those will be the difference makers. Then Shambali. Shambali probably the most dominant one of all. Tread 20 and 3. 23 and 4 for Zodial. Again, Poddenova very much being the number 1 target. So, a good comeback victory for Peps. They finished it with a commanding sense of dominance, even if it didn't really start that way. So I think still reasonable for Celtas. These games against the sort of big 5 or whatever you want to call them aren't really the games that will define their season or define whether they get in that top 8. But at least a respectable Oasis, which means it's probably time to pick player of the match. Let me think. Is it maybe just Tread, actually? I feel like FD God got caught a few times. I feel like Naga had a pretty good series, actually. Zodial was solid. Maybe it's Crook or Tread I'm leaning towards. Crook or Tread. I think I'll probably go Tread's way. I think for Ram, there's a distinct Ram gap, I think, very much on that third map. Maybe we can see this a little bit in like 3 deaths to 8. And I think the Winston was actually mostly good from Tread. Really mostly good. Good primals mixed in there as well. So congratulations to Tread. Congratulations to Peps. And I'll see you guys in the next one.